Hello, everyone. Let's read this problem together. Arnold documented how he spent his time from Monday through Friday. Choose the statement that is not supported by the table. Okay, so we want something that is not supported. And so that means we are looking for something that is not true or false. Now, we do know that we're looking at the time from Monday through Friday in hours. So what we want to know is what is the total number of hours in 1 week between Monday and Friday. So either we can figure out that they used all of the hours in a day, which is 24 hours times 5 days, or we can add up all of the hours that they gave us here. So 40 plus 40 is 80. And then we have another 15 and 5 is 20. So that's 100. And then we still have 2. So let's just add them up here. 40, 2, 40, 15, 2.5, 5, and 15.5. Notice what happens with the decimals? We have to line them up. So I can put a lot of point zeros here so that they all have the same number of places. So here we have 5 plus 5 is 10, so we carry 1. That's 3, 8, 10, 15, 20. Carry 2. 6, 10, 11, 12. And then we bring the decimal down. So the total is 120 hours. Okay, we can continue. So now letter A says more than 1/2 of Arnold's time is spent sleeping and working. So we have sleep and work. Sleep and work is making up 80 hours. So that would be 80. Sleeping was 40 and working was 40. So that's 80. And the total, remember when we're making a fraction that's part over total, the total we figured out was 120. And so we can divide both of these by, let's start by dividing them by 40. 80 divided by 40 is 2. 120 divided by 40 is 3. So that would be 2/3. And here they said more than half. So I always like to look at these in decimal form or percent form because they're easier to compare than two fractions that do not have the same denominator. Now, luckily for me, I know certain benchmark fractions, like 1/2. 1/2 is half of anything is 50%. 2/3 is a benchmark fraction that we should know with 1/3. So 1/3 is 33 and 1/3%. 2/3 is 66 and 2/3%. Now, if you don't know these, then you will have to be able to convert them using your division. Okay, so it is a good idea to practice these and learn them. And those are the flashcards that you had at the beginning of the units. Okay, so 66 and 2/3 is more than 50%. So this is true. However, remember we are looking for something that is not supported. So we want something that is not true. Okay, so then let's go ahead and look at answer choice B. Arnold spent 2/3 of his time sleeping and working. Oh, we just found that out. Did we not just say 2/3 of the time was spent sleeping and working? That's exactly what we just did. Sleep was 40 and work was 40, and that was 80 out of 120, and then we got 2/3. So this is true. Okay, so that's not going to be our answer. Let's go ahead and look at answer choice C. It says Arnold spent 5% of his time driving to work. So let's look at driving to work. Driving to work is 5. That doesn't mean 5%. That 5 is in a regular number format. So we're going to make a percent box. That is the thing that we use our percent box to convert between fractions and decimals. Okay, so let's put our part and the total. The part that we are asking about is the drive to work. And so we figured out that that is, and we're going to put it in regular numbers, 5 out of a total of 120. And we want to know if that is 5%, if we have 100 total percent for the whole entire work week. Now let's keep in mind that if we already know something about ratios. If we have 5 out of 120, do you think that we were going to get the same number for 100? Is 5 over 120 the same as 5 out of 100? They cannot have the same numerator if they don't have the same denominator, and they would not be equal ratios, right? So I'm already thinking this is not true. They think they just got confused, and instead of looking at 5 as a regular number out of hours, they turned it into a percent just by grabbing it and putting a percent sign. So I don't even have to solve this because I know that if 5 out of 120 is my first ratio, my second ratio has to be less than 5 because 120 is bigger than 100, so 5 will be bigger than x. But just to prove it, we're going to solve it. 5 times 100 is 500. And 120 times x is 120x. So we're going to divide by 120. When we are solving equations, we make sure we do the same thing to both sides. And then 120 divided by 120 is x. And on this side, 500 divided by 120 is going to be 4. That's going to give us 480. We'll have 20 left over, so we'll add a decimal and a 0. And then 120 goes into 200 one time. And then we'll still have 80 and so forth. And I ran out of space, but that's okay because x is equal to 4.1 something, something, something. But it's not equal to 5. It's not 5%. It's less than 5%. So it is not equal to 5%. So this is not true. And remember, we're looking for something that is not true. So I'm thinking that this is my answer. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and check the last one. And the last one says Arnold spent 1/8 of his time eating. So let's take a look at eating. That's 15 hours. So if I write that as the part out of the total in a fraction, which is 120, I can simplify it by dividing by 5. That will give me 3 and 24. Oh, that means I can still simplify it by 3. And that will give me 1 and 8. So 15 out of 120 is equivalent to 1/8. So this is true. So the only answer that was not supported or is not true is C. Arnold spent 5% of his time driving to work. That is not true. Arnold spent less than 5% driving to work.